In an essay called The Structure of Consciousness, which is in a collection of essays called Knowing and Being, Michael Polanyi talks about a distinction between what he calls focal awareness and subsidiary awareness. I think it's subsidiary. I'll check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And he gives an example that I've used before, which is the example of a 3D stereogram, when you have two images side by side, one presented to each eye. And these images differ slightly, and the difference in the two images produce the three-dimensional effect, much as the difference in one's own right and left eye produce the three-dimensional effect which we routinely experience as sort of extended space we walk through. Anyway, he talks about that as an example of focal and subsidiary awareness. We are focally aware that we're in a three-dimensional space, but on some level, not a conscious level, but on some level, we must also be aware that there are two images. Our left eye is seeing this image, and our right eye is seeing a slightly different image. And all the information from that image is being captured somehow by right and left eye. But it's not focal. We don't see those images separately. We see the composite image with all of the additional information translated into this illusion of depth. And he says it's impossible to go back, actually. He says even if we wanted to try to recover the individual images of right and left, we wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, we could artificially do it by closing our eyes, I suppose, but we couldn't. We're not aware of the mechanism, and we can't make ourselves aware of that mechanism. He says it's not inferential in that sense. By that, I think what he's meaning is that the way these two images work together to produce this one three-dimensional image, it doesn't work in the way that inferential logic or inferential sense happens. Like, for example, in mathematics, if you want to add two numbers together, then the third number is produced at the bottom, which is the product of the two numbers. And that's completely inferential. At any point, you can go back and you can check your calculation. If you add 2 and 3, there's the 5 at the bottom. You can go back and look at the 2, you can go back and look at the 3. And assure yourself that the 5 is a real figure. Baby, guy, we've got up here, come on. So you have that's sort of inferential. He says that this sort of workings of consciousness, which produces, in this particular example, a three-dimensional effect, isn't inferential in that way. We can't go back and look at the 2 and the 3 and add them together to make the 5. We can't look at each individual image and sort of add it together to make the three-dimensional image. He says it's not inferential, and he actually uses the term which I think he gets from Piaget. He says it's a sensory-motor effect. It's not an inferential effect, it's a sensory-motor effect. It's produced by not by the logics of mathematics in that particular case, or by the logics of most of it, but by it's produced by the logic of our embodiment, of having certain sort of senses plugged into certain sort of cognitive capacities. And so our bodies produce the logic of the world, and it's non-recoverable by conscious processes.